Okay, GM, everybody. Welcome to the Hump Day Wednesday edition of the Premarket Prep session for this one and only June 5th, 2024. June is full steam ahead. We did one of those things where we had the first day of the week goes on Saturday, so it randomly seems like I missed the first few days of June. But we're here, we're rocking and rolling, and the market is doing what the market should be doing, which is making strides and making movements in the direction of how we're positioned, which is very nice. We've got Bitcoin resuming that push, that's been mentioned here, talked about a few weeks ago, steadily pushing, steadily moving, and taking other cryptos along with it. We've got a number of positions that we have been positioned in over the course of the past few days that are moving nicely. Right, we've got Spy, we've got Eli Lilly, we've got TerraWolf, we've got Nvidia. So we've got a number of different things moving in the correct direction. I feel like I have something stuck in my throat. We'll push through it. And we're looking to really get some volume coming in here for the second half of the week. We had an extremely low volume day yesterday, like very low volume day. So in order to see any type of move with conviction, you got to have volume behind it. Volume is what rules all. So we'll see if we can get some volume in one direction or the other this week. But we're here for one reason and one reason only. That's to get 1% better, right? Kaizen, the daily philosophy of getting just a little bit better each and every day. It's not about being invulnerable, right? It's just about being unstoppable. You're going to get chopped down at the knees. You're going to get kicked in the chest. You're going to get smacked in the face. But make sure that you continue to push despite all of that happening, right? So that you continue to thrive and put food on the table and live the best life that you can live. And make sure that you take those preparations again while you're comfortable. Don't wait until things get uncomfortable. It makes it a lot harder in life to move once you're uncomfortable, right? This morning, I'm very sore. I did my 5K yesterday morning and then ran like 2.5 hours of pickleball last night. And I don't know, we were playing some intense games. I don't know what it was, but I woke up this morning, I was sore as crap. And I still woke up at 6:15. I didn't run, but I got some work in. More AI related work, got some work in, but it's a lot easier to work when you're doing it from a place of comfort as opposed to a place of discomfort, right? I can speak personally. This morning I'm sitting here then trying to take some Tylenol and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a day where I might need to take a work from the bath, right? Run a little Epsom salt bath. But it's a lot easier to take the measures you need to take when you're comfortable rather than when you're on your last leg. So if you haven't, make sure that you're signed up for the Kaizen event happening this month. We're like 3 weeks out. Don't miss out. It'll sneak up on you sooner rather than later. You can do that at I'mBetterDaily.com. And I'm going to go ahead and dive into what we got going on today. Speaking of 1% better daily, as always, throw that one in the chat signifying your intention to get 1% better. That's how we do it. It's not by accident. You want to do it over and over and over again and mean it. So that's what we're doing here. Now, our top news, oil slick. A big announcement from OPEC Plus on Sunday has been rattling through the energy sector over the past several days. The group detailed a series of production cuts and extensions, giving participants a clearer tapering schedule through the end of 2025. Despite the proclamation, oil prices have struggled in recent sessions, with Brent crude falling under $80 per barrel for the first time this year, and WTI moving closer to $70, which is way off the $100 mark that OPEC Plus is targeting with its new roadmap. Now, what's going on when delving deeper into the details of the agreement, there's a lot to consider aside from the headlines. Collective group cuts of 3.7 million barrels per day were extended by a year until the end of 2025, but additional cuts of 2.2 million barrels per day, which were supposed to expire this month, were only extended until Q3 of 2024. The latter grants OPEC Plus the leeway to roll additional barrels back into the market, giving the group flexibility to restore more supply when conditions warrant their release. It also means the market is only a quarter away from potentially higher output, which comes at a time when there are already concerns about the oil demand growth outlook. So, right, energy is a sector that we've loved, starting to look a little bit shaky here, despite them doing things that should really end up being bullish for energy. While OPEC Plus has very bullish forecasts, many other agencies and analysts are bearish, especially given fading geopolitical risk premiums. Okay. That is a weird. Fading geopolitical risk premiums. Where at? Somebody please show me. Somebody please show me where this geopolitical risk is de-escalating in any of these theaters of war that we have going on here. Um, which previously failed to generate any significant reaction despite tensions in the Middle East. Many big nations like China and India are also getting their crude from shadow fleets, while the output roadmap from OPEC kingpin Saudi Arabia may buy some political goodwill in Washington by helping the U.S. craft its own energy policy. So, cartel no longer. OPEC Plus is pulling off a delicate balancing act aiming to preserve its unity at a time when some in the group are building out production capacity. Two-thirds of the latest cuts are voluntary from individual nations, while with members like the UAE feeling that it has to do more of the heavy lifting amid campaigns for higher quotas. Also, remember that the total amount of current OPEC Plus cuts is about 5.9 million barrels per day, or 5.7% of global demand, which can somewhat be made up for by countries outside of the group like US, Canada, Brazil, and others. So OPEC really trying to get things under control and normalized. Stuff kind of hit the fan ever since who was that Iran's like president died in that helicopter crash. Everything has kind of hit the fan since then and has not normalized when it comes to like the energy sector. So we'll see if we can get some normalization there, and get some return to bullishness. But these, the cuts being made, if they don't get the results they want, then they'll probably just end up cutting more. And, the US, again, we produce the most oil in the world, but we also use more than we produce. And we're trying to refill the strategic petroleum reserve. So if they really want to start hacking down and cutting down, on its production, then I think they can force people's hands. But yeah, there's a lot of the shadow fleet, right? You got people delivering oil and people buying oil from people they shouldn't be buying it from, according to, you know, um, different restrictions that we have, right, going on globally. So there are a lot of different balls in the air when it comes to it. But at the end of the day, you got to give the most credence to the charts, pay the most attention to the charts, and then roll from there. Um, OPEC isn't the type to go outside, though. You guys know how it is with gas prices. If they can get you, they're going to get you. So I have no doubt that they'll do what's in their best interest, which will hopefully end up then aligning with mine. That's really the key in this world. There are a lot of things that aren't like how they should be, but I'm just going to make sure that I can position myself in a way that your interests align with my interests. So whatever crusty things you have to do in the background, you're also achieving my goals as well. Right. Let's see what else we got happening here. Healthcare news thumbs down. A panel of advisors to the FDA has declined to endorse Lykos Therapeutics' application to market psychedelic drug MDMA, also known as ecstasy, as a treatment for post traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really sound like the best idea. The panel voted 9-2 against the treatment when asked if data showed MDMA's effectiveness, and 10-1 against when asked if the benefits of MDMA outweighed its risks. Lykos has proposed 3 sessions of MDMA administration along with psychotherapy for a single 4-month course of treatment. Related movement in the alternative therapy space was seen following the decision with MindMed plunging 15% in pre-market trading. I don't think anybody has significant positions in MindMed. And if you do, you probably took those positions while you were on ecstasy, which is quite unfortunate. But yeah, some healthcare news that you might not have been aware of. We mentioned this before, but if you aren't aware of it, FDA wasn't liking it. Automotive news, testing. China has approved 9 local automakers to test their self-driving tech, including BYD and NIO, marking the first time the country has cleared testing of level 3 and level 4 autonomous technologies. The pilot program will cover passenger cars, buses, and trucks, with testing to be carried out in 7 cities, including Beijing and Shanghai. The approved automakers must first refine their testing and safety plans, which need to be greenlit by authorities, after which they can carry out testing on roads. The approval follows reports of Tesla nearing the registration of its full self-driving software in China. Yeah, Tesla's been making headlines about, it making headway with its full self-driving software. China's just always, they've got super, super protectionist policies. They're always going to look out for native Chinese companies. And it's done well for them because American companies are just huge corporate machines that eat everything around before it has a chance to grow. And TikTok never would have become what it is today if it was under US control. Facebook would have bought it and squashed it. Somebody would have bought it and squashed it, because that's just how the world goes, right? It's like same thing with Apple and Beats by Dre. Yeah, they still sell Beats, but they squash Beats, right? They bought it in order to smother it as competition to AirPods. Um, and they were effective in doing that, right? And also just be aware of what you like read to online, because like, man, there are like people throwing a few words to sound smart but have legitimately no idea of what they're talking about. And there was like a thread too that was on Beats and Apple, and it was like, no, they bought Beats to squash it. Like they were talking about how they took some technology from Beats and they did it like at no, like them acquiring Beats did not make them make any major changes to what they were doing with the AirPods. Same thing. I saw something about GameStop options, and the options that Roaring Kitty owns. And this was like a large account that was like, if Roaring Kitty holds these stock options until expiration, then he'll own this many shares of GameStop, which will put him at like owning almost 20% of the total outstanding shares. And like maybe he'll get a board seat. And it's like, the most basic rule that all you guys know, right? If you learn from me, the most basic rule is that buying gives you rights, selling gives you obligations. He has the right to buy all of those shares. Just because he holds those call options until expiration does not mean that upon expiration he's given those shares, right? Actually, upon expiration, the contract expires. So he no longer has the right to buy those shares at that price. So it's just so many levels of wrong. And there are people that are getting their information from this and are like, wow, this is so bullish. I got to get more GameStop. Please do not be an idiot, right? Please do not be an idiot, because there are so many people out here where you could just throw a few terms, right? Oh, these call options that he holds upon expiration, it entitles him to this many shit. It literally does not, right? It does not. And then there are so many people sounding off in the comments like, oh wow, this is amazing, like diamond hands. Please just investigate whatever you're learning about. Just go a little bit deeper than the surface. Just investigate a little bit deeper than the surface, because people are out here getting screwed. But you listen to these random accounts and they have no idea what the heck they're talking about. If he holds those contracts until expiration, they'll be worthless. That's all that's going to happen. It's not like, oh, he's going to rise to a board seat and this, that, and the third. Like that is complete hogwash. Um, so just trust, but verify, right? If you do trust the source, cool, go ahead and verify for yourself. In terms of outlook, AI spending, Tesla is also looking to take robo taxis to the next level in the US, revealing the south extension of Giga Texas is almost complete, which will house 50,000 NVIDIA H100s for full self driving training. In fact, CEO Elon Musk expects the electric vehicle company to spend around $3 to $4 billion this year on NVIDIA's AI chips. Musk also clarified a recent media report that revealed the H100 chips booked for Tesla were being sent to XAI. The automaker, quote, had no place to send the NVIDIA chips to turn them on. He tweeted, so they would have just sat in the warehouse. Yeah, I mean, it's funny now, like whenever your stock needs a little boost, you literally just mention Nvidia. You're like, wait. Normally, people don't want to hear, oh, we're spending this many billions of dollars on something, but it's on Nvidia chips. People are like, send them to the moon. So I mean, Jensen Wong at this point is like, the rock star. Like he's Steven Tyler, whatever. I'm not a big rock star guy, but all the guys that I used to watch my cousins play on Guitar Hero, as big as all those guys, right? Just out here living the dream, crushing it. If you put his name anywhere near yours, your stock goes up. Um, so yeah, and honestly, he's kind of like what Musk was at the peak a few years ago, right? You remember when Tesla was just absolutely crushing it, like the best performing stock in the market, and it was going up 10% every other day. And right, that's Nvidia now. So he's kind of having his, not kind of, he is having his Elon Musk peak moment, whereas Elon Musk is kind of having his like Mark Zuckerberg moment, whereas Zuckerberg, is that guy where I feel like public opinion often turns against him and he's just kind of seen in like a slimier light. Musk is sort of taking that on right now, and he'll have to fight his way back. I'm sure he will. But yeah, Jensen Huang is like the rock star that Elon Musk was, and now Elon Musk is kind of that guy that Mark Zuckerberg has never made his way from being, which is just somebody that people don't really like too much, and is kind of seen as like bumbling around and maybe not doing the right things necessarily. But only time will tell. History will tell. All three of them have made history, and all three of them will go down as three of the most influential people, um, in human history. To be completely honest, I mean, with Zuckerberg, with Facebook, and just how much Facebook shaped a generation for better or for worse. Elon Musk with paving the way to space, and then Jensen Huang paving the golden brick road to the AI future. I mean, these guys all crush it. So today's markets, mixed bag, but mostly up, mostly green. Japan down 0.9%, Hong Kong down 0.1, China down 0.8, India up 3.2%. The footy in London up 0.3%, Paris up 0.7, Frankfurt up 0.7, the Dow up 0.1, essentially flat, S&P up 0.2, Nasdaq up 0.4, crude oil up 0.3%, gold up 0.3, Bitcoin up 2.8%. Bitcoin back above 70K. No surprise there. You heard it here first. 9:45, we got PMI composite final data. So we've got ISM ISM service index. Both of those things at 9:45 and 10 a.m. are like little pieces of information that the market can wait on. And then we see some, volatility that happens once you get them. What else is happening? Rapid fire stock news rundown to close us out, baby. This is where we're at. Dollar Tree, ticker DLTR, is exploring a sale of its Family Dollar business. Will Boston Beer, ticker SAM, merge with this cannabis company? Roaring Kitties, GameStop trades under probe in Massachusetts. Looking to regain market share, Intel unveils new processors. I feel like Intel is just constantly like, you know, they were the chip makers of the past, but I just don't know about the future. There's just no excitement around them. Sherry Redstone said to be unhappy with offer for Paramount. Is Paramount ever actually going to get bought out or what? Jolt's job openings were softer in April. Quit rates unchanged. AI powers HP Enterprise results. Guidance tops estimates. Shout out Hewlett Packard. We've got executives from Hewlett Packard that are part of the stock options made easy community. So shout out to them. Much love. Boeing CEO search, Dave Calhoun will support board's choice, and then WWDC might start the AI-driven growth cycle for Apple. So maybe Apple unveils, some big AI announcement at the Worldwide Developers Conference, WWDC. Let's wait. We gotta wait and see. But Nvidia is now officially more heavily weighted in the S&P 500 than Apple, which is a crazy development. It's only marginal, right? It's about like a point so and so percent, but still, Nvidia now has a heavier weight in the market than Apple in terms of how the S&P 500 is weighted, which is wild. Wild times. This EV stock is up 100% year to date, and analysts and quants still love it. So they're plugging a little stock pick at the end of this. But that'll wrap us up this morning, guys, my beautiful people, for this June 5th, 2024. If you have not, you already know the drill. Go to I'mBetterDaily.com and lock in. We're going over all things AI for 3 straight days, talking about ways for you to increase value in your personal and professional life. If you have your own business, right? Whether it's in sales or real estate, product sales, digital sales, there are tools out there that can help you bring in cold leads. Tools out there that can help you follow up with cold leads. You hate cold calling? There's literally a bot that you can create that can call your outbound list of numbers and do that cold calling and gather and screen those leads and then send you the viable leads to follow up with, right? So if you're looking to be the best personal trainer, salesperson, executive, real estate agent, any of that, right? All of that, you can use AI in order to help you with. I know my brother was very enthused about the cold calling one because as an agent, he spends a ton of time going around and doing cold calling. You could literally set this up and then it goes out and cold calls all these numbers for you and then leaves you with those leads. And this isn't like the crusty like, hello, this is your roadside assist with a Giro. This is like good conversational AI that takes correct pauses, does not take too long, and is very, very effective in the way that it goes about doing things. So put yourself in the environment to level up. Miracles don't just happen, right? They meet you in motion. Opportunity meets you in motion. Get in motion, get in the right rooms, and that room is going to be the Kaizen event on June 19th to the 21st, right? If you can't be there, recordings are available. I'mBetterDaily.com. Other than that, let's have a great day in markets. Let's crush it. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one.